the tale of the spider that I was not happy about. So, did I ever tell you about the spiders that we would get in the apartment?
I like how the tale about the spider today starts years and years and years and years.
It does, because there is a parallel. It does, yes.
All right.
Did I ever tell you that the spiders from the apartment? No, I don't think I did. I think I've told this story before, but when we were going to get married, because Sean got to live in, various different other places, and I lived at home all throughout school, and I would commute. Before we got married, I was like, I just want to live alone for just a little bit. So the apartment we were going to live in, I was like, okay, once we're married, you can move in too, but I want to live here until then. And I sometimes had moments of regret because that apartment clearly had been unoccupied for a while before I moved in, because there were a fair amount of wolf spiders in that apartment, and it was very upsetting. And there was one time where I had gotten back from the gym, and I went to move the shower curtain, and it had apparently been on the shower curtain. So when I did that, it flung off, and then it landed on me. And at this time, I'm about to get in the shower. So I was flipping out, and I might have even called you, Sean. I was like, I need you to come over and kill it. Or I had an aerosol Febreze, and I just, Febrezed it to death, but it's carcass.
I came over at least one time, I think.
Yeah, it was that one. Yeah. I was like, I need you to come, just throw it away. I didn't want to deal with it. So I bring that up to say, once again, even though I don't think it was a wolf spider, I think it was something worse. When I was getting ready to bathe, I see this stupid spider, which you saw the picture. It was huge. And it's those little cupboard things you can have above your toilet. So it's between that and a mirror. And it's a really old mirror that you can open. It's a little cabinet at the same time. So that's what it was between. And then I also flipped out for a second. And I was just like, why is this always when I come across them? It's very upsetting to me. And I'm especially sad because I was trying to, as I texted you, figure out what kind of spider it was. Because I'm like, was this a bad one or is this just big? It might have been a bad one too. I was like, no, not also a venomous, a not great. It's not we're going to die from it. But it's not one of the it's just cute and big, I don't think it was one of those. And I'm upset about it.
Yeah, I can.
I got bit by a spider in Tucson.
Sorry, Christy, what would you say?
Oh, I can see how that might be traumatizing if you experience that when you're about to go shower. That's your most vulnerable state. I thought it was a closet in the picture, but shower is much worse.
So much worse. Yeah, it's just that little space between that cupboard above and then the mirror. The mirror is where that weird design is, that kind of coppery, more bronzy probably thing that's in the picture I sent you. Sean, what were you starting to say?
I was just saying I have been bit by a spider and my arm went numb, but look at me now. I'm just fine. I kill spiders when I need to. It's fine. They're fine.
So you didn't become Spider-Man then?
No, I wish. That would have been cool.
Wasn't it?
Although I can't really Phoenix isn't a good area to have web powers. I'd have to I can't really swing on stuff. There's not enough buildings close together.
Our metropolitan area isn't.
Yeah, it's not conducive to web slinging.
Yeah, we'd have to go to New York or maybe Chicago.
Yeah.
It's just Seattle. Too much effort. Yeah, I was not happy about this, as you can tell. But also, Sean, when you were a kid, was the one you got bit by a black widow, or you guys had a black widow in your house?
Yeah, no, I think it was a black widow. I think the thought is it was maybe a male because it definitely arm definitely went numb, but it wasn't I'm gonna die. So, but it was not pleasant. It was weird.
And you've also been stung by a scorpion.
That was when I was really little. The spider I was probably in high school.
Do you remember which you would consider worse, or is it hard to tell because you were a kid?
The spider for sure.
That one was worse for you?
Yeah. The scorpion, I thought I was going to die because I was 5 or 6, but it was fine,
You're living Mama's dream, getting bitten by all these venomous animals.
Yeah, so we've talked before. I've been stung by a scorpion, which I still wonder if the one that stung me repeatedly, because I was waking up and I was like, what is that? You know, when you have like a Charlie horse when you're asleep and you just kind of like, you're sort of waking up and you're not processing, like, what is this pain? You're in and out of a dream. And so I just felt this pain in my leg and I started like trying to mess with my leg. And then it dawned on me that it felt more like when you get a shot kind of pain, not Charlie horse pain. So then I woke up and I was like, something's in the bed. So I was correct. That my whole leg went numb for at least a full day. It was really painful for a few hours, and then it was numb the rest of the day. It was numb a little bit into the next day too. And that was the beginning of finding scorpions in that apartment all the time, which was awful. And then I've been stung by a bee and then stung by wasps. So
I think
it's just Arizona in the desert.
Fun fact, I believe as a 5 or 6 year old when I was stung by a scorpion, I was watching Ben-Hur, which is a weird movie for a 5 or 6 year old to be watching. I don't think I understood it.
I don't know if I've seen it.
It's a very old movie.
I remembered in the tale that you had been watching something. Yeah. So I am so excited to read The Raven Scholar. I'm hoping to read it somewhat soon. So I'm glad you're liking it so much. And we tend to like a lot of similar things. Oh, yay. That's so nice. Also, I've seen that picture on the internet before of the little skeleton with the fairy wings.
I have not seen it, but I like it.
I like it, yeah. So have either of you been stung or bitten by anything that for a lot of people is something they're afraid of or gross?
I've been stung by bees before, which is why I'm afraid of them. But I think that's it.
Yeah. And Christy, up in Canada, do you even have anything that posts kind of?
Yeah,
Christy's
honestly,
been stung
I
by a
can't think of
bear.
anything. Huh? What was that?
I said you've been stung by a bear up in Canada. I just assume you have bears up in Canada.
I've literally had nothing happen to me. So I have no interesting stories there. And that's why I guess I'm not as scared of like those animals, because I'm like, I don't see them in real life, so there's nothing to be scared of. The only spiders that we get here that I've seen are only like these tiny little ones that are honestly kind of cute.
They're like storybook spiders. That picture you sent, I was like, that's not the same as the one that I sent you. She sent in response. Yeah.
The picture that I sent, it was like a cute one, right?
It was like much smaller and more of like, oh, a little spider with its web. But this one's just like, what did that thing crawl out of? That's like...
Yeah, I'm sure I would feel much different if I had to see like huge ones like those.
I have to say, I know like everyone's like, oh no, they're fine, but tarantulas do freak me out. Like we've had some I mean, not here at this house, but my parents, like growing up, we had tarantulas that would come roaming through sometimes, and you're like,
yeah, there was
thanks.
One time
that's a big thing. I don't want to mess with that.
There was one time while we were dating that I got down. I feel like I got full Tucson treatment because that's the area. It's close to the border with Mexico. It's very far south. So that's where his family lives. And we had gone to visit them. They have a ping pong table in their backyard. So you and some other people were playing ping pong. And then this massive tarantula is just like walking across the yard. And I was like, nope. And I just went inside because I was like, that's disgusting. But then that same trip, a snake was in their backyard. And then that's when I was like, oh, and because I would much rather be around a snake than a spider. Just to be clear, I don't want to get close to either, but I can get closer to a snake. A safe distance still. I'm not an idiot.
I would choose a tarantula over the snake. I think tarantula in the backyard, you're like, oh, there's a tarantula. Snake in the backyard, I was like, no, I'm going inside.
Yeah, I think certain animals, I just showed Sean this clip of a bison just ramming into another bison, and it was basically went flying. So I'm not one of those people that's so stupid that I'm going to be like, oh, maybe I can get a little closer to it. I'm not dumb when it comes to that kind of stuff. But snakes, I'm like, I recognize snakes can go far if they're the kind that spring at you or whatever. So I'm aware, but if I'm like a safe enough distance, I'm like, that's so cool. It's a snake. But bugs are all just no for me. Christy, what was that face you made?
Oh, because it's just you're like, oh, I'm not one of those people who are like dumb enough to want to be like closer, and then it just made me think of like every time I see a coyote, I'm like, I want to pet it.
How big are coyotes in Canada?
I've only seen them from a distance, so I can't really tell. I assume it's like a big dog size.
Yeah.
I also assume
I feel pretty stupid. I don't know if I even thought of coyotes in relation to Canada. In my head, they're more desert like.
Oh no, we have a lot in Toronto, especially because I think there used to be, okay, this is what I heard from my friend. There used to be like a coyote reserve kind of place downtown, but then they've been like doing construction and stuff, so they don't really have anywhere to go, and they've been like moving further up. So yeah, there's a lot more coyotes around here now.
I'm looking to see if they look very different from our coyotes, and I think the answer is no. I think they look pretty similar. A lot of ours are they're pretty thin and scrappy looking.
Just thinking that because I was just looking at the Wikipedia page for coyotes, and I was like, this is a pretty chunky coyote. Like, it looks like well fed, and I was like, I don't think the ones around here look like that. I think they're a little bit more like mangy.
There was one time we were walking Luna at this little like mountain area not far from us, and I know that it wasn't a wolf, but I swear it had to have been the biggest coyote I've ever seen because it looked like a wolf. And we heard the noise because you can hear them, right? They'll start yapping and making noise, and we're like, uh-oh, because they'll be a little more aggressive if you have a dog. And we're kind of far away from our car, but we were near a neighborhood, so I was like, I think it'd make more sense if I went with Luna to this neighborhood, and maybe if Sean, and you ended up going. No, you came with me and you got an Uber to go back to our car because we didn't think it would be safe to.
Yeah, and that family came with me.
Yeah, because I saw
we don't want to mess with the coyotes either.
The coyote was because it ended up coming up and it like crossed the trail really slow too, and I was like, okay, time to turn around because it was pretty close, and then we could hear other ones, so it almost sounded like they were circling us. So we went into this neighborhood, and then Sean called an Uber, but when we went down, we ran into this family and we're like, just so you know, there's coyotes like right over there. And they're like, oh, and then they ran into the same problem, I think, where their car also was at this parking lot that was far. So they asked Sean if they could ride with him, or you offered or something.
And I think that was the Uber driver who like seemed really put out that she had to like clean up her front passenger seat because she's taking like 4 people. I'm like, do you only like take like 1 or 2 people all the time? Like, I don't know. It was weird. She just seemed like really annoyed. I was like, dude, is this unusual? Like, I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. I've never been an Uber driver, but
I don't know. I think
really annoyed.
They were just being rude.
Yeah.
I can't imagine my whole business is let me drive people around in my car and then being upset when people enter my car. I think that'd be it's a little much. So that, and then we used to go walk around this one nature preserve area when we lived in our condo. And there was one time where I'm like, are the coyotes fighting? Because they were so loud and they sounded close. And that was another like, all right, time to leave. But that area, they had so many both cottontail bunnies and then jackrabbits. So we would count. And the jackrabbits freak Sean out.
They're big.
They look kind of like if a bunny had radioactive something or other happen to it. Have you seen? I think people think they know what a jackrabbit is until they see one. They're like, I'm going to look it up.
I'll look it up too.
Hold on, I'll pull it up on the screen.
They're like bunnies from hell.
They can be pretty creepy looking.
Their ears are gigantic.
Yes. Because I think most people, when they think of rabbits, they think of cute little like bunnies, or they think of little cottontails.
When they're just like moving around, I don't know.
They move weird.
Okay, like is this a bunny or a kangaroo? To be honest,
right? Yeah. They look.
Okay, that picture specifically that you have pulled up, like its eyes know too much.
Yes, exactly. Look at this one.
Even these pictures, though, I don't think they show how big those things are. They're big. Like, I don't know.
pretty large. I wonder if there's a picture of it near something. Oh, is that one dead? That's sad. I don't want to look at a dead rabbit. Oh, this one I think is dead too. I don't know what happened to it. Sorry. I didn't want to look at. Why are people hunting them? Okay, they're weird looking, but don't just shoot them. I don't understand. I was having a conversation with Sean the other day about. I understand eating meat, and I understand that some people hunt and then they eat meat, but I don't understand just like wanting to kill animals. That doesn't compute in my brain. So
I agree. There's so many people here who hunt, and I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, it's because all of it is just for like the fun of it, which is like so weird.
Yeah, I can't imagine being like, oh, look at that majestic creature. Let me kill it. Like, I don't understand that mindset, because I think I can understand that
hunting animals is legal.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand the process of like trying to find it, and that being, because that I can understand. Like, you have to assess the animal. It makes you understand nature a little better, all of that. But then at the end of it all, I would rather just get really beautiful photographs of it. You know what I mean? Because like the rest of it, of the process, is similar. I just don't need to engage in target practice. Like, the challenge is getting a good photo. I feel like that sounds more fulfilling, but you know, I'm just wired differently, I guess, than people that hunt. I am thinking of a comedian talking about killing a woodpecker right now. Sean knows the bit. Yeah, about like feels good to kill the enemy or whatever. Oh, yay. Anyway, so that doesn't make sense to me. But on the jackrabbit conversation, so when we first started dating, Sean was talking about how in his house in Tucson, they would see all sorts of things like javelina, snakes, tarantulas. He's saying all this, and then he said, and we see rabbits. And I was like jackrabbits? And he was like, yeah. And I was just like, because he said like cute little rabbits. And I was like, jackrabbits aren't really cute. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I think you mean cottontails. And then I showed him a jackrabbit. He's like, oh yeah, that's definitely not what I was talking about. And I feel like you've feared them ever since then.
I don't traumatize them.
I mean, like, but they, you know, because it was in Chandler where we saw them when we'd go walking all the time. They're just
no, that was Queen Creek area. Because that was when we lived in the condo. We drive really far south. Maybe right. It's around Chandler too, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Chandler versus Queen Creek, Arizona yes. Lore here.
You asked the question.
Yeah, they're just weird. They're weird out there, just loping around.
Yeah,
I don't like.
And then if they would run really fast, some of them are so big. They're bigger than dogs. Some of them are bigger than certain kinds of dogs. So, but anyway, probably enough Arizona animal chat. Oh, what were you gonna say, Sean?
Oh, I was gonna say we also saw bobcats growing up too.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, lucky.
Oh, I should say I took a picture of one in my parents' neighborhood semi-recently. I'm gonna send you guys that picture because it was crazy. It was like dark out, and there's like a stop sign, and then you keep going. So I like had stopped at the stop sign, and I thought I saw something, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" And there's like kind of a trail with like under like a power line, so some of the brush is cleared out. So I like drove up to it slowly, and I was like, "It's sitting right there," and I was like, "This is crazy."
So, I love bobcats.
Did it make you want to go pet it?
I really did. But then also I rolled down my window to take a picture, and I was like, what if it jumps in my window?
And like, then you get a free pet.
And a free mauling.
It's like that there was this video of a moose that came up to these people's car, right? But it wasn't fully grown, but it was still enormous, and it came up and just like put its head basically like right in the window, and the guy's like, oh my gosh. And a little bit I'm like, why didn't you roll up your window sooner? Did you panic? I don't know why you wouldn't, because I kind of understand if it was far. Don't moose kill more people than bears in Alaska every year? I think this is a real fact.
I heard something to that effect.
Moose kill more people than bears. Yes, moose are statistically more likely to injure or kill people than bears in some regions, particularly in areas with high moose populations like Alaska. Okay, so I didn't make that up.
People they underestimate the moose. You know, like a bear, they're like, oh no, it's a bear. but moose are like, oh.
Yeah. There's that whole propaganda about it wanting a cookie or something, you know. Do you know that picture book? That's what it's called, right? A moose wants a cookie.
No, mouse a cookie. If you give a mouse a cookie.
No, there's a mouse one too. Hold on. Moose wants a muffin. That's what I'm thinking of. It's the same concept. Yeah. Hold on. Maybe it's this. It's cute. It's the same idea, I feel like. It might even be written by the same person.
Or someone just stole the idea. It was like, let's just change it to moose and call it a day. That looks like
if you give a moose a muffin.
Oh yeah,
what a riveting sequel. Author. I wonder what happens.
It's a kid's book. Why are you being a brat? Anyway, so I feel like moose also maybe are just more aggressive because animals come after their babies. Perhaps. So they're just more inclined, like wolves would come after their baby. I mean, I know a lot of carnivores go after other animals' babies in general, but I feel like a moose, maybe that's part of it. Because if a bear is just alone, and if they're not really hungry, depends on the bear, of course, but I think some bears are just kind of like, I don't know if they want to expend the energy to deal with somebody by attacking them. Christy, are you doing research?
Yep. I was wondering, like, if moose are territorial. Maybe that's why, but Google says... Yeah, it's usually when they're threatened or protecting their young.
I feel like much of my commentary today has just been like, when I was a kid, I saw one. But when I was a kid, I was camping with my dad. And I forget where we were. It might have been Utah. Anyways, I woke up and opened up the tent. And there was like a moose right in our campsite. And I was like, nah, and I just zipped it back up. I was like, there's a moose outside.
A similar thing, less terrifying because it was a deer and not a moose, but a deer came through this campsite when we were camping as a family, but some other people my parents knew were camping too. One of the guys had a dog, and the deer came up and just like kicked him in the chest. And there's pictures of me and my sister like petting the deer.
Those pictures are crazy to me. When I saw that, I was like, are you at like a petting zoo? Like, what is this? It's like, I'm a kid.
No, I guess they thought it was like a nice deer. It was nice until it saw that guy with the dog.
Have you heard of the Crypted, the not deer?
No, what is this?
It's basically like a deer that is not a deer, obviously, but it has like, instead of its eyes being on the side of its head, its eyes face forward like a predator, because like prey animals have eyes on the side of their head. Like its joints are wrong on its legs and stuff. So
what is it called? Wait, what?
A not deer. Like not
that description kind of reminds me of the forest spirit from Princess Mononoke.
Yes, but these are more ominous. But like I don't know how this started, but my brother and I joke about this all the time. Like every time we see a deer, we're like, oh, it's a not deer. Like because like we'll be driving like on like a vacation or something and at night and like see a deer and we'll be like, it's a not deer.
There's a lot of, I feel like, lore about deer-like things that aren't. Yeah, because they can be, sometimes certain things can be kind of scary that are deer-like. On the note about the moose versus bears, it reminds me of the fact that I think also hippos kill way more people than lions, right? Yeah, I feel like people also probably have a misunderstanding of hippos, thinking that just, again, mudang propaganda, that even though that's a mini one, it's a little different. But have you ever seen them chase boats in rivers? It's terrifying. Also, I just need to get out this PSA, okay? Orcas are terrifying. They're so scary. And everybody thinks they're really cute, and they're really scary. Okay, have you watched them hunt?
Yeah,
they're so
that's
scary.
cool.
I've seen that one like documentary video of like the orcas like hunting the humpback whales, and it's the saddest story
So sad.
ever.
Yes, it is awful. They just follow it for so long. Is it the one with the baby?
Yeah.
they just try to like separate it and then they ram it to death. It's awful.
They drown it, and then after all of that, they only eat the tongue, and then that's it. I'm like, what a waste.
I've seen stuff recently talking about how their humpback whales are starting to try to intervene in their hunts, and they're saving seals. And people can't quite figure out why. And I'm like, they're probably traumatized because the stupid killer whales kept killing their babies. So they're like, time to try to get rid of these predators by taking away their meals. I mean, that would make sense. Animals adapt. They're smart. It's like birds. I think ravens will help bears out. And bears, like, they have a, not quite like symbiosis, but they have a little bond. And the bears kind of get led to where there might be something to eat or kill or whatever. And then the raven will come and eat with it or something like that. Stuff like that, where it's like animals figure out how to help each other. When
I don't have a childhood story about an orca, so we have to change animals.
Okay.
That's the only way I can participate.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Sean. What's a childhood?
Oh, I don't bring up the animal. I just let you know if I have a childhood story or not. I don't have one for orcas.
Anything cool with birds? Any kind of cool bird?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll throw in, and you don't have a childhood memory, but you actually did have a memory with me after I told you about this, which is there is a place in Arizona with this massive python, I think it is.
Yeah.
And it's albino. And I remember as a kid, they'll let all the kids come in and we like all hold a part of this giant albino python. And we're like all lined up holding it. And I told Sean about this and he was saying that sounds crazy. So then as adults, we went and then we got to pet the python again. And it was awesome. And it's
I was a little unsure about it. I was like, but then there's like all these like fifth graders doing it. And I was like, I'm a grown man. I'm going to touch that python.
Are you braver than a fifth grader?
Yeah.
If it's something gross, the answer is no, I'm not. But other kinds of animals, I definitely want to see a little bit more of. So do you two have any fun animal stories you want to share before we start our sprint?
I'm trying to think.
Well, so speaking of birds, I was never like a big fan of birds. I didn't really think about them much, but when I first met my boyfriend, so he loves birds. He thinks they're so cute. So on our first date, he asked me, "What do you think about birds?" And then I was like, I like to eat them, thinking of chicken. And then later on, he told me, he's like, yeah, when you answered that, I wasn't sure if this was going to work out.
Oh, no.
But since then, I've warmed up to birds, as you know from my display pictures, which are all pigeons now.
Yeah, except for cute. I feel like the one that you have is really cute. The black one, right? Is that a pigeon?
Are cute.
I don't know if that's a pigeon. If it is, it looks really different from our pigeons.
It's like it was in the winter, so it was like all puffed up to try to conserve heat. But yeah, so now we are buddy reading a book called The Backyard Bird Chronicles, which is the author Amy Tan. She lives in California, I think, and she got really into like bird watching and feeding birds. So then she did like all this research and bought all of this like bird feed, and she just observes them and writes about their behavior and draws pictures, and they're really, really good. And then from that, we've learned so much about like bird behavior. So one thing I didn't know was that birds, they can't taste spice. So then a lot of bird feed, like, because if she would put the seeds out, but then squirrels would get to them. So then there's specifically like bird feed that squirrels can't eat, which is like, it's got like pepper on it. So that when the squirrels eat it, they're like, oh, it's spicy, like they won't eat it. So then the next time we went into like a store and we saw like bird feed, it was like, oh, squirrel proof bird feed. And we look at the ingredients, it's because there's like spicy pepper. And I was like, that is so cool.
That is really cool. And I didn't know that. And I love birds. So thank you for sharing that. I love birds. When you two come to Arizona eventually, this park that I've said I kind of want to go on a picnic with you at, that's right down the street from our house, for some reason always has the prettiest birds. And we'll be walking and I'll be like, hold on, look at that bird. Because they'll be like really pretty. Well, cardinals aren't the most, unknowns, but it's not very common just in Phoenix area. Usually you have to go a little bit outside of the city. But there'll be those, and then things I don't know what they are, like really pretty bright orange, mostly on like the underside and its head. And we just get really pretty ones there. And then it is fun every now and then. In the colder months, the ravens come down, which is not anything new to either of you, I'm sure.
No,
but we do.
I've never seen okay, there's probably crows and ravens in Toronto, but I don't see them. And it's like my lifelong dream to befriend a crow or a raven and get brought shiny objects.
Okay, well, I don't know if we can make that entire dream come true, but when we take you to Sedona specifically, you will see ravens for sure. For sure. In February, you will definitely see ravens. They're huge and they're noisy.
Christy, I've been Googling, trying to figure out what I was thinking of. I have not read this book, but there's a book called The Peregrine. I think I'm saying that right. It's about a falcon.
I was going to say.
By J.A. Baker. And it's just this guy, his memoir of watching a couple falcons. And apparently it's very beautiful. So
I'll have to check that one out.
Here, I'll share the... we do get peregrine falcons in Arizona also. There's the book. I do love birdies, and I think I can't remember if I mentioned this to you, but when we were getting baby birds around in the spring, there kept being a lot of hawks hanging out. Like you would just see them on light posts and stuff. They're really big. And then all the mockingbirds would like swarm the hawks, I think trying to get them away from their nests, which that was kind of cool. I was like, whoa. I don't know if you've never seen, like right in this pine tree right by in like our neighbor's yard, it was happening while we were watering plants or something, doing yard work. And then I sent you the video of the little cactus wren popping out of the cactus. They're so cute. So
forget bookstore hopping. We're gonna go bird watching.
I know you'll see. I mean, the ravens just hang out in like parking lots and stuff in Sedona. They're pretty used to people. But I was starting to say in the colder months, because we live in North Phoenix, and they sometimes come down in the colder months, and you hear them, and you're like, "Is that a raven?" So you've not actually seen one in person?
Well, okay.
No?
I don't see them here. I went on a work trip to Vancouver and Whistler, and they have so many crows there. It's like in Toronto, we mostly have pigeons, which is fine. Pigeons are cute, but I'm like, I want to see some crows and I want to befriend some crows. But back in like Vancouver, it's like their crows are like what pigeons are to us here. So I'm so jealous.
Here, I typed in ravens and then specifically Arizona. And weirdly, it started to bring up Ravens Arizona golf course. So now I wonder if they take the balls from people or something, which would be so funny if they did.
Yeah.
Anyway, reading. Officially, we should probably get started on our sprinting. So I think, are we all now officially on the fourth one? Yay! Okay, so how far? Sean is in the fourth one, but he is going to be reading his nonfiction book about Hoover because he's almost done with it. So he's going to try to get to
and
the
I
end.
don't have any J. Edgar Hoover shirts. So,
yeah. Not a person. I told him, not a person who you probably want to be representing on your clothing.
Probably not. I probably don't want an Edgar Hoover shirt.
Yeah. But you're with us in spirit through your Mau Mau and Jinshi shirt today.
Yes.
But yeah, how far is everybody on the fourth Apothecary Diaries light novel?
I'm 40 pages in.
Okay.
I'm on page 4.
Wait, did I tab anything in the first 4 pages? I just want to add, I'm not going to say specifics, but I really liked the prologue. I liked the placement of that.
Yes,
there's been like a lot of that where it's like, okay, because I'm watching the anime, like I've been rewatching the anime at the same time because my boyfriend's watching it for the first time, so I'm rewatching it with him. So there's like everything is like so vivid in my head, so I know like where everything is and all the lines and stuff. So every time something is a little bit different here, I was like, oh, like that was different from the anime. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there was one part. There's been a couple times where I'm like, oh, I guess that didn't happen. And then they'll reference that it happened later. And I'm like, okay, so it did. They just kind of made it actually happen, understandably, during the actual scene. I am on page 87, the chapter Festering Resentment is what I'm about to start.
I was further yesterday.
I'm sorry. I read some today. I have to say, I think this volume starts with the most amount of humor. Because like right off the bat, I feel like she's being funny. So we'll talk about that during our break.
I'm in danger then because I use yellow sticky tabs for funny moments, and this is what's happening to me. I have no yellows left.
Oh man, I hold on. In spirit, I'll give you some of my yellows.
Yellow? Wait. Oh, I was gonna say, I was like, oh my god, I'm missing the yellow, but it's up here.
More of a mustard.
Like,
so
I have like so many of these now where there's like just yellow is missing.
I wanted to have a little bit of orange too because I have multi-colors and I couldn't find this color orange in any of the tabs I have, and I was like, oh. Sean's over here like, this is too much color coordinating.
What volume are you on, Sean? Or are you finished?
I am on page 1 of volume 4.
So I'm not the furthest behind anymore.
No, I am the furthest behind. Shame on me.
You were, there was a brief moment where I think you were ahead of all of us, and then we very quickly all, yeah. But we'll chat about funny parts or thoughts after. But let's go ahead and get started. I did make another 30-minute timer, so now we have 2 that we can use, and this one has more kind of like melancholy dark academia piano sounds. Ooh. And the background is a picture of some used books at an old bookstore that we went to. So I thought it looked kind of fitting.
Encyclopedias.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I just laughed because when Sean said like, "Ooh," I thought it was Sarah. And then when I looked at Sarah, I was like, "She's not moving."
I heard that. I immediately looked at you, Crispy, because I was like, "Oh, that was
you." Sean can reach such heights. His voice. Yeah. Okay, starting officially. Now that we're almost 40 minutes in our time, we will take a very quick break and jump back in so we actually get some reading done.
Yes.
And we'll see you after these 30 minutes.
Hello.
Hello. How is everyone's reading?
It was an eventful sprint for me, not because of the reading, but because I dropped my entire computer.
Oh no.
I was wondering where you went. What happened?
So I'm like at my friend's house dog sitting, so I have like my laptop on like one of those foldable like lap desk things, and one of the legs my camera is hiding the fact that it is actually so dark in here. So I went to go like try to find another light to turn on because he just moved into this place. There's like no lights. So I got up to try to like turn on a different light, and I hit the leg of this thing, and just like my laptop went flying, my microphone, my camera. So if anyone was watching like during that sprint, they might have seen all of that happen. And then and then like everything got disconnected, so it like kicked me out of the stream. So
you came back.
I'm definitely gonna go back and watch.
That would actually be interesting to go back and watch. Just like see everything tumble.
At least nothing was so bad that it got damaged.
Yeah, I think everything's fine. Scared the dog though.
Oh, is it still on the couch?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Yay!
Oh.
What kind of dog is it?
I was asking the other day. He's like, I guess a lab mix with some other stuff, but he kind of has the coloring of like a German Shepherd, but he's not German Shepherd at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's cute though.
He looks cute.
Yeah.
Christy, are you ever gonna get pets?
See, I want
a bird, perhaps.
No, probably not a bird, because I feel bad keeping birds because you can only like keep them in a cage. They can't really like fly around and stuff. I really want a cat, but every time I bring it up, my boyfriend is like, "You're gonna have to clean its poop. I'm not gonna clean it," because he's usually like more responsible and does more cleaning than me. So he's like, if we get a cat, like I just know you're gonna neglect the poop and it's gonna fall onto him. So he doesn't want to get a cat. But also he's like, if you get a cat, it's gonna ruin all your special editions of your books. I'm like, fair point.
I'm pretty sure Roger, if I'm not mistaken, has had two in the past, if not still has to be mindful of his books around at least one of his cats, I think.
Yeah, studies have shown cats go for special editions. Any other book. They're like, wait, sprayed edges?
Luna did get at a lot of ours when she was a puppy. The ones, not special editions, just books. When she was really little, and the bottom shelves of our bookshelves, she would go after stuff, and she couldn't help it. She was just a little puppy, just a little baby. She was so cute as a puppy, though. It was hard to stay mad at her. And she did, I will say, I think Luna's one of those dogs that definitely looks guilty when she's done something she's not supposed to, because she's pretty good now. But occasionally if we buy, you know how that one day I sent you yeah, Luna can do whatever she wants to be forgiven. Exactly. You know those cute little like fall decor items of the little birds or squirrels or whatever you can find. Yeah. So that kind of stuff, if it's anywhere that she has access to, she will try to go for it. So if I put something on the end table between the two couches, she'll get up onto a couch so that she can try to reach it and grab it. And so a lot of them are kind of broken.
They're toys.
Yeah.
Like they're for me. Thanks for buying me a toy.
Yeah, I don't have very many stuffed animals necessarily. I just have a couple of plushies. Like Sean bought me this little stuffed animal, basically, of this owl in this one video game. Its name is Hoodle. And I'll talk about that in a second. But if that comes out, we have this really big, giant, like armoire type thing in our bedroom. And if for whatever reason that thing comes out of there, Luna immediately perks up and like has to try to get it. And you're like, no, stop it. So she definitely goes after that kind of stuff. But Hoodle, more on Hoodle, The game is Tales of Arise. It's an RPG. And there are a bunch of owls that you have to try to find throughout the game. That's not the point of the game. It's just like a little extra thing. And they all make weird owl sounds, but with obvious human voice actors. I think I've talked about this before. So they'll be like, hoot, hoot. And I'm not exaggerating. It'll be just like that. Or one of them will be like, hoot, hoot, hoot. And like, just, it's so funny. I think Hootle does Hootle say Hootle, or does it?
I don't remember. The Owl King and Queen make weird I mean, they all do. They all just make weird noises, but isn't the Owl King like hoot? Isn't he like really like
really refined? Hold on, I'm gonna pull up a picture of the Owl King. It's so funny. I think it's adorable, and it's so random. Just classic RPG.
Oh my god.
And then also this is Hootle. So this is the one that I have a stuffed animal version of. But yeah, you just kind of find them throughout the land. Guide all special owls. But there's another picture of the king and queen. Here's some other random ones. I know, they're so cute. Him flying, I guess. But there's one part where, so this is the girl that has Hootle. So Hootle is kind of like her little buddy. And there's a part in the game where this bad guy is about to attack, and Hootle like flies in front of her, and Sean and I both were like, no! And then like Hootle's just flapping its little wings, and then something causes the thing to stop, or someone saves or something, and then Hootle's like, oh, and it faints in relief, and it's really cute. So anyway, that's the Hootle lore.
I was gonna quit the game if something happened to Hootle. I was like, I'm not playing this anymore.
Spoiler, does anything ever happen to Hootle?
I don't think so. I think Hootle's fine. Yeah. Just some stress. It undergoes some stress, but otherwise I think Hootle's all right. I was gonna say, it's like authors when they tell you, don't worry, the cat lives, or something like that. There's a show, I won't say the show because it's obviously a spoiler, but there's a show that I did not like. And there is a dog death in the show, and it was so unnecessary, and it was poisoned too. So the dog just randomly in the show starts I think it's like vomiting, and it looks overheated, and it's just on the ground panting. And
now, did I watch this with you?
Yes, you know the show. Someone we knew loved the show, and I hated it, and you hated it because of the long monologues about a lot of nothing. Yeah, that dog death was so unnecessary and so drawn out. And I was like, okay. Then
wait, I have to make sure. I think I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'll text you.
I want to know.
You know what it is.
I want to know what it is too.
Oh, okay. If you want to know, I'll just put it in the chat. I always give it the wrong name, but I think this is the right name.
Oh, then I know what you're talking about. As soon as that gave it away.
Yeah. So I was very upset by that. It's so unnecessary. And also, I thought the show kind of sucked. I love the doggy. It doesn't help that I'm pretty sure the breed of dog is one that I had at one time. I mean, all dog death is sad, but especially when it reminds you of one you've had. Anyway, I'm kind of sad that multiple animal death things have come up today. The dead rabbits and... Yeah. Whoops, sorry, everybody.
Fictional dog.
Death. Yeah, fictional dog. Yeah. Long monologues and dog death is a pretty big no for me, or is a big no for me. Yeah, and the monologues...
I like long monologues, but not in that show.
I think that the monologues in the show are pretentious. It felt like a beginner's guide to questioning religion. That's what it felt like a little bit. So I think it thought it was saying something way more intelligent than it was saying. So like all the arguments were things that the most basic of podcast episodes would be, I think. And I wasn't a fan. But that's just me. I can't say that. I don't want to spoil the show for anybody. And also, if anybody likes it, I feel kind of bad.
Offended all of them.
I've just trashed it, yeah.
Well, anyone who has watched it probably knows what you're talking about based on the long monologues and the way the dog died. So they're already offended.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's I don't know if it's as beloved as some other things that I don't like that I've openly talked about not liking, so it's okay. How did everybody's reading go? Aside from the very eventful computer crash situation.
I am now on page 21.
You started on page 4, you said?
I was on 4 earlier, yeah, because I had to go get my laundry. So.
Well, no, I was going to say, I feel like usually you're making fun of yourself. I actually feel like that's more than you usually read, on top of you doing something else.
Oh, yeah? How many pages did you read, Elle?
Okay, well, I didn't get up to do my laundry, and I have a giant pile of laundry on top of my dryer, so just saying. But I'm now on page 116. And there was also an illustration mixed in. So
I also had an illustration. The bath one, which is wow. Wow.
Wow in the same way that Mao Mao is wowed, or
what? You know how she's like, oh, it made her wanna.
Yeah. Where like her hands are involuntarily clenching.
Yes.
She's so stupid sometimes. Sarah, what did you get around to reading since your situation occurred?
68. So I read almost 30 pages.
Even with all that.
I know, I was not expecting that. I'm also really tired, so I'm like, I can't see and my eyes are like closing, so I was pretty shocked by that.
I have to say, I do appreciate how much I feel like Gaoshin just really says what's on his mind when he's alone with Jinshi. It's so funny to me where he's just like, hey, are you going to do this or what? And Jinshi's like, yeah, I know, please give me a sec. And he just goes on about it. It is very amusing to me. He, like, all his decorum goes out the window, which I don't know. Maybe that's another reason that he likes Mao Mao. Maybe he appreciates that about her, but also the expression on his face in this. I think I can show this illustration. It's just Gaoshin and Jinshi just sitting. But hold on. I'm gonna see. Gaoshin looks like so. Like the way they describe his expression all the time is, I feel like what he looks like right there. Furrowed brows.
He's got the permanent furrow in his eyebrows.
Yes. Sean, you're not Gaoshan today.
No.
Is it because of your Hoover reading?
Yeah.
How is your Hoover reading during your sprint?
I didn't read very many pages, but there's a lot of words on the pages. You know, so I read like 12 pages. I did get up once. And you know, we're getting towards the end of his life. It's the 1960s, and I'm beginning to think nothing good happened in the 1960s. Like lots of bad stuff happened in the 1960s. So yeah, some sad stuff just happened. Not sad J. Edgar Hoover stuff. I should clarify that. Sad societal things have happened. 1967 specifically.
Nothing bad ever happened in America's history.
So many bad things happened.
I'm jealous that I feel like everybody's getting ahead of me in that series. But I'll catch up soonish.
What is this series?
The Gale song. The first one is Children of Gods and Fighting Men.
Oh, okay. Heard it.
And it's very good. I thoroughly enjoyed the first book and really look forward to the next ones, which everybody has told me are fantastic. I just have a number of things.
Or are there more?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a trilogy, but the author I think is has another book in the series coming out this year, but it's I think more in the same world, not necessarily the same series. Something like that. I've tried not to look into it too much because since I've only read the first, I don't want to know who it's about, the new one. You know what I mean? Because then it might it's like when I talk about the continuation of Red Rising, I pretty much never say character names, just in case. Because one of those series where you're like, I feel like anybody could die. So I don't want to give anything away for anybody. I forget, both of you iffy on Red Rising, right? It wasn't as much for you. Or you used to like it more and you don't like as much now, something like that?
I thoroughly did not like the first book. And then the second book, I was like, not as good as everyone says it is. But then I loved the third book. And I've been liking it more and more. But also, I don't know how I feel about Pierce Brown as like a person, as an author. So that kind of affects my like feelings about the book too. So
anything, is it stuff you feel like you don't want to say because it's maybe a little impolite or something?
Like I don't follow, like, okay, as I mentioned before, like I don't follow any authors on like social media. I don't want to know anything about them unless they do something like actively harmful. So I don't know any specifics, but I just heard like internet chatter, people talking about Pierce Brown. I'll tell you about it later, but I don't know if like, yeah, I don't know if it's really like a big thing, but you know, that's why like I don't want to know anything, because like even a tiny thing could like affect my perception.
Yeah, I think that's more true for people than I think sometimes people want to admit. I think we all do it to some degree. There's probably the rare person out there that truly nothing impacts their reading because they're so good at separating. But I think most of us have a hard time. There's certain things that are going to stick out to us and certain things that aren't as big of a deal. So that makes sense.
Sorry, why were we talking about Red Rising?
I mentioned continuation series.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, the way that some people talk about the continuation, I'm like, you can't say these names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I avoid that, but I liked the first book. I thought that the second book, I actually had criticisms about it, and everybody's like, this is when it gets good, and I was like, I actually kind of like the first one more, and the third one was my favorite.
Yeah.
I think the third one's the best, and then the continuation, I was like, wow, I hate this character in this so much. There's such an idiot, and it kind of sort of, it's not that it ruined the original series for me, but I was like, let me purge this from my brain, and then I can maintain my enjoyment of the original trilogy. It's why I won't read it's right behind me, the quartet. What is the name of it? Hold on, I need to look.
What's right behind you?
Sarah, what are your thoughts on Red Rising?
Well, surprisingly, they're almost the same as yours.
That's such a surprise.
Yeah, so I can't remember how I felt about
Realms.
Oh.
I'll keep going in a minute. Go ahead, Sarah.
I can't remember how I felt about the individual books because I feel like I don't remember anything about them. But I read the first continuation and I was like, maybe I can like this. And then I started the second one and I was like, I can't do this. Like, partially because it got way too sci-fi for me. Like, I know that it was sci-fi before, but like,
yeah,
it crossed a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Actually, that's kind of how I felt about the second book in the original trilogy, is that it kind of felt more like cool space battles. And I was like, eh. And then the third book, I think, kind of tied the more emotional and thematic elements with sci-fi. It balanced it out, I thought, quite well. So that's why I like that one. Seven Realms, though, Quartet by Cindy Williams-Chima. And the continuation series, I'm like, I'm not going to read it because I double checked with somebody about a certain event that I think kicks off the series. And I'm like, yeah, why would I want to read that? I don't want to read that. So I especially wouldn't have wanted to pick it up right after finishing the quartet. And I feel like I can't explain any of this because it's so spoilery. But I'm not interested. Should I tell both of you in the private chat, or are you like, I don't even want to know? It won't give specifics. I'll just say, Sean, you're never going to read this series.
You can tell me.
I think I already know. I think I actually remember. I remember.
Yeah, I'm not going to read this series, so it's okay.
Trying to think if there's any like continuations of series like that I do like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why,
now, to be fair, I think like a number of years have passed. Sean, gosh. For anybody wondering, Sean just said OMG spoiler.
Big spoiler.
Big spoiler, yeah. So a number of years have passed, but still, I mean, that's why I'm saying Sean, jeez. That's why I'm saying that if you had just finished the original quartet and then you were to pick it up and then that happens, you'd be like, okay, I understand that time has passed, but I didn't see that time passing. So it feels like it just happened. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to read that. I don't know. I don't like, it'd be one thing if it was like, oh, well, I have to put this in the private chat too. Okay. That would be different, right? That would be totally different. But not that's not the situation. So I don't have any interest. No, thank you. What are you gonna
Oh my gosh.
Anywho, okay, shall we jump back into reading now?
I want to say one more thing about Red Rising.
Yes.
My biggest issue with the series is the way that he introduces characters out of nowhere, but in a way like they're introduced out of nowhere, but there's supposedly like a lot of history with that character and other characters, and they have all of these like really like super emotional like relationships, and I'm just like I didn't see any of that develop, so I don't feel anything for it. And there's one specific thing that bothers me is when like these two characters, you know, they're supposed to have all this history, but we didn't see any of it, so we don't have any emotional investment, right? And they do the forehead touch, and I'm like, you didn't earn that forehead touch.
So what you're describing, yeah, Sean, what you're describing, I definitely feel like one of the big reveals in the second book of like, oh no, shocking thing you didn't see coming, and this is why the character outsmarted all these other characters. You're like, okay, you didn't give me any of that information ahead of time, so it's essentially a huge Deus Ex Machina. And I was like, well, that wasn't a satisfying reveal. We had no setup for that. It was I'll say that in the chat too. I feel really bad
because I'm like I'm blanking. I don't know what you're referring to. But just like, okay, sorry about the. Oh.
Yeah, it's like you had no idea, but actually they had tons of experience in this thing that like
okay,
because
right. I remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that wasn't satisfying, but I still really like the series.
Yeah,
as far as I can remember.
I just feel like, you know, forehead touches are just such a like powerful, intimate, like connection thing between two characters, and it's like, you know, it's supposed to make you feel something, but then if you have two characters who do that, who like you don't have an emotional investment in it, I'm like, yeah, you didn't earn it.
I think if it's overused, that thing you're talking about, where it's like, oh, all the time, not the forehead touching, but the idea of these characters have a history. It would be really funny if every character that was introduced, if they did that. But the idea, because I could kind of understand if like one time all of a sudden this like old war buddy shows up that maybe they never talk about the war, so they would have never talked about this person or something like that would make sense, but not if that's a common thing that's used. I do agree. The only forehead touches really I give are with Luna. So it's
not
true.
Even
I'll
John.
be like, Luna. Yeah, not as much. Sean just is too busy forehead touching my computer, my desktop. I give forehead touches to our dog. He gives forehead touches to the lap or the desktop. Anyway, okay. Officially back to reading. Should we do the same 30-minute timer again, or do we want to do the other more jazzy one this time?
I like this one. The music is very calming.
Okay.
Unless anyone else has another preference.
No, I like this one too.
I
can listen to it.
Yeah, Sean gets to like, ooh, what's that when it's jazz music? I also incorporated, when I was looking for tracks, the beats per minute so that it would maintain that kind of that feel. They're like within a range. Yeah. So much effort put in. Okay. We'll see everybody in half an hour as soon as I get this pulled up. Hello. How was everyone's reading?
Good.
Yeah. What page are you on now, Sarah?
96.
Christy, how'd you do?
I'm on page 40.
Yay.
So I was on 20, now I'm on 40. So, you know what? That's pretty good for me.
It is good.
Yeah. It helps that I've been rewatching the anime like so recently. So as I'm reading this, I can literally like picture exactly how the anime is playing out in my head.
Yeah, I think so. I know most of the time manga and anime adaptations are really good, but I just feel like this one's so perfect and spot on in basically everything.
Yeah.
Almost finished with the second Grey Coats book. Nice.
Oh, Night Shadow.
Sean, how is your Hoover reading? How much do you have left now?
Like,
it's hard to tell in books like that because they have so many references.
Less than 50 pages.
Yay.
But LBJ is out. Nixon is in. Nixon and Hoover were best buddies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're really good friends.
I realized that.
Yeah. Really good friends.
I feel like that. I don't know what that says about a person when they're good friends with him.
Which one are you talking about? I mean, you know, like...
when somebody's good friends with Hoover, actually, though you're right to ask that question because I think most people, it is kind of amazing to me. Anytime something, we don't need to, of course, get into specifics with politics, but I'm always like, I mean, we look at Nixon as if he's such a stain on America's history, but I'm always like, what he was in trouble for in comparison, I was like, it's kind of surprising to me that he's viewed so negatively in comparison to other American presidents.
This book has only taught me and reiterated that most presidents are doing shady stuff, man. I mean, it's pretty rough.
He just got caught. Yeah. But anyway, are you liking that material though that you were reading? That section?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's something I was gonna say, but I already forgot.
Being good friends with Hoover is a bad thing for the rest of us, usually, LOL.
Yeah. Yeah, Nixon's whole campaign about law and order and whatnot was basically just saying what Hoover had been saying like his entire life. Big law and order fan. So
are you still thinking that you're going to read the Lyndon B. Johnson book? Where is that the one that's moving up at 4? Yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
Are you planning to start that this year, or do you think that'll be a 2026 project for you?
I think I want to read, since I've already started, I want to read all the Rick Perlstein, that 4 books, because I already read the Barry Goldwater one. But then
it would just be 3, right?
Yeah. But then once I've read those, then I'll read the 4 books on LBJ. It's a lot of books on LBJ.
It's a lot of books.
Is this true? That's a crazy stat if that's true. Hold on. I'm not trying to doubt you. I just...
that is pretty far to get without...
It says there were a few others. But the thing that's popping up is the AI overview, and I don't always trust those. Really enjoyed Nixon Land.
See? That's the next one. That's the next one after Before the Storm.
Sean and I talk about that all the time. Not all the time, but it comes up frequently. Like the books that'll come out after this are going to be...
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of this stuff, because I agree with that. Like even this book, it's like now that we have access to materials from the FBI, and you're like, we're just now getting access to some of that stuff from like the 50s and 60s, like we need to be like releasing this stuff quicker, people. Like, what are we doing?
We have to wait till enough people have either died or they forgot about it or they don't care anymore. But I think what's going to be interesting to this point about what will books be like about this current situation is that maybe everybody feels this way when they're in it. I don't know. This one feels a little different, but it just feels like there's a new thing, if not every week, then every day. It feels like there's something. So it goes by so fast that I almost think we pretty quickly forget about some of the stuff because some new thing happens.
Oh, sorry. I remember what I was going to say, the very specific thing I was going to say. So, Sean's story time. Yes. Okay, so Bobby Kennedy was the Attorney General under JFK and therefore Hoover's boss. And then during that time, Bobby Kennedy was like, hey, what if we like bug Martin Luther King's house and stuff and his hotel rooms? And everyone was like, that's probably not a good idea. But they ended up doing it. Flash forward, and MLK has been killed. Bobby Kennedy is now running for the Democratic president, the nominee for the Democratic Party. And he goes to MLK's funeral and looks sad. And everyone then thinks like, wow, what a hero that man is. What a great civil rights leader we have in Bobby Kennedy. And Hoover, who is the pettiest man in the world, I've learned, is like, well, that's my old boss who told me to spy on MLK. By the way, that didn't take a whole lot of like pressure. Like Hoover hated Martin Luther King Jr., but that's an aside. So he just like leaks the press, like, oh, by the way, Bobby Kennedy like wanted me to like spy on MLK, as if it was like it was his idea, but like, he just like dropped that little bomb, and then people are like, oh, that's probably not very good that Bobby Kennedy did that. So then he lost I think one of the primaries, but then he was killed shortly after that. So, that kind of ended the thing that way. But man, Hoover is just, he's like I said, he's a petty man.
You should mention the thing he did with the documents was it like a South American branch?
Yeah. So for a little bit, the FBI, they're kind of experimenting with like the FBI being like more of a global thing. This is pre-CIA. So there were some FBI, headquarters places in South America. And then they're like, hey, we're starting this new thing. They didn't call it the CIA yet, but it becomes the CIA. And like, hey, we're going to like have this new thing, so you don't need to be in South America anymore. And instead of like turning over all the intelligence he had gathered and like here you go to the CIA, he just told his agents to burn it all. They burned everything. And then they're like, dude, why did you do that? And he's like, well, I thought like you said we weren't like very effective at our job, and that's why you're replacing us. So I didn't think it was a big deal. And you're just like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like
the pettiest on another level, truly. It's weirdly from an entertainment perspective, if this was fiction, that would make me laugh. And then you're like, that's a real person. And those were probably important documents. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, rather than like just be like, here you go. He's like, no, burn it all. They don't like us. And he really did want to have like a global FBI. Like that was like his dream. He wanted to like oversee it all. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. And he's like, fine.
There's a new low every 8 hours in reference to the thing I said earlier. I see a future with bookstores.
Oh, Lord. Wait, no, only the King James version. We can only have one pure.
It has to have the Declaration of Independence in the front.
Yes.
Because that's a thing. That's a thing now. Hoover, more petty than Trump. I'll skip the books and get to the cliff notes from Sean. I do enjoy getting Sean's
So
him
the
telling
Hoover
me
more
about
petty
it.
than Trump thing, that is tough. Trump might be more petty, but I don't know if it's that close. I mean, that like far. I think it's just because, you know, he wasn't ever president, but
He also did have a love of showmanship, though. Aren't there photos of him with like big cameras and stuff? If he had been born a little later.
So at first he was really suspicious of Hollywood because, you know, he hates communists, and obviously everyone in Hollywood is a communist. But he really did grow to love some people like really kind of flattered him and were like, we're gonna make these movies about the FBI, and then he's like, okay, and he just like showed them classified documents so that you know they would make fun movies about him, and he really liked those. And then in the 60s, people were like, hey, let's make a TV show. And he's like, I don't trust television. And then they flattered him. He's like, okay, television's cool now. And he showed them a whole bunch of classified documents. And then
like,
that show,
like these classified documents, it's like he shouldn't be showing them.
No,
right?
no, probably not. No, he's just like, I can do this. And so then that show that came out was like more like I guess gritty, you know, and this is the 60s, so I don't even know how gritty it was, but he didn't like that because he was like, the old films just taught people how to be nice, and the heroes of the FBI, these make me uncomfortable. So then they just like changed it to make it just like these weekly feel good morale stories about the FBI. And then he's like, I like this now. This is good television.
Well, and they had
like,
for a little while, they made it where you couldn't say negative things about law enforcement, right?
Oh yeah, that in movies, yeah, you could not say, and that was something he like really wanted and pushed for, and legislators were like, that's a good idea, we shouldn't allow that.
Christy, is this stuff, I'm always fascinated because the few times Sean and I have been to other countries, everybody always knows at least some things about American politics, and we never know anything about anybody else's politics, I feel like, on average. Is it, as somebody in Canada, you're a little more related to our politics? I feel like Canadians often are like, what's going on down there? But do you feel like all this is interesting, or how much do Canadians tend to know from your observations about what's going on in America?
Well, I don't know about other people, but personally, I've never even heard of this guy before Sean started talking about him.
J. Edgar Hoover was the head of the FBI for like basically from like 1920 through up to like the 70s. Like he's been around. So
yeah, in my history classes that I took in like middle school and high school, it was all Canadian history. So
as it probably
like,
should be. You know, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think we even had world history.
Oh, you didn't have a world history class at all?
History. Yeah, maybe there was, and I just didn't take it because I was the classes that I took was all like the maths and sciences and stuff. So there probably was like world history.
Yeah, Sean, you didn't have. Was it you didn't have world history at your school, right?
No, we did. I just didn't take it.
It wasn't a requirement, is what I meant.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
my high school, world history was what we took first. So we didn't actually take a history class freshman year, interestingly, because they're like, we got to get all the math and science stuff. And then sophomore year, you took world history. And junior year, you took American history. And then senior year, half of the year, you had to take government, which a little part of me is like, kind of feel like we should have a little bit more for government. But you took a semester of government and then another semester either of marketing or economics, I believe. And I took marketing instead of economics. But I did also opt in to take AP European history just because I thought it'd be fun to take. And it was taught by the same teacher who taught government. And I liked him as a teacher quite a bit. So, and my sister had that same teacher and she loved him. So it was one of those, types of things. But I liked how he taught. I felt like I learned a lot. But everybody else in that class complained all the time because it was an elective. So the kids that were in AP English would kind of guilt trip the teacher because they'd be like, well, I just have so much homework for AP English and this class is an elective. And he was like, if you're not going to do your homework, that's on you. He was like, he had like a sit down with the class to tell them, I don't really know why some of you are taking this. If you're just taking it for the idea of having a weighted GPA, you could have taken other classes instead of this one. I'm still going to demand things of you because it was like a class effort to try to get him to give them less homework because they prioritize their AP English instead.
That's so unfair to the teacher.
I know. And he asked us, he was like having a class discussion about it. And I feel like I earned no friends because I was kind of like, yeah, it is an elective. You chose to take it. You did not have to be here. So if you're going to choose to take it, you got to choose what, like, you have to either don't do your homework or do it, but accept whatever grade you get with it. And I don't feel like they liked that. I said it nicer though, but it was a little pampered of them. I found.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at the comments over here. I do agree with the American history only went to like the 1950s. I don't know. Yeah. I think ours went a little further, but it's always like, it's like the end of the semester. I took, AP US history. They're trying to prepare you for the AP test, and they're like, and then stuff happened in the 1960s, and go take your test, and you're like,
that's exactly
there's a lot of stuff that happened, guys.
Civil rights happened, racism ended, and America's perfect now. That's kind of, I feel like, the impression. I've mentioned this before. My AP American history teacher was obsessed with the NFL player Jerry Rice. Obsessed. He had some random days where teachers could dress casually. He would wear his jersey, which that's not that weird. He had a tattoo of his face, I think, on his arm. He had drawn pictures of him, if I'm not mistaken. He was a really good artist. And then also, for extra credit, randomly, Jerry Rice was on paper towels one time. And if we brought in paper towels with Jerry Rice on them, he gave us extra credit. He did other things too. Like, I think we celebrated his birthday or something. I will say he was
teacher just looking for a quirk. Like, he's like, I need something to separate me from the other teachers.
No, definitely not. He'd been obsessed with Jerry Rice, I think, since college or something. Weird. He was very nice and also the most calm, lovely man, and he was a good teacher. But the Jerry Rice thing was really out of left field. It was really funny. He was really nice though. I liked him a lot as a teacher. He also was funny because his passion, aside from Jerry Rice, was Black history. And I think he was also Canadian, interestingly. And but he was like, I don't feel like it's my place to teach about like American civil rights, like just that, as like a white Canadian. But that was like, that was his favorite thing. He was really passionate about it. And he also hated the state of Texas to a point where one time he had gone out of town for something. And then he was telling us all, he had this saga of his trip. And he said it was the worst trip because they had an unplanned layover, and we all knew where it was going. And the layover had been in Texas, and he was so upset about it. It was very silly.
So I keep getting distracted by the comments. Isn't Mississippi Burning the movie where like the FBI is portrayed as like the heroes of the civil rights movement almost? Which is too bad because there's Gene Hackman in it. And I love Gene Hackman.
As an actor.
Yeah. I don't have him tattooed on my body anywhere, and I don't have paper towels of him, but
getting a tattoo of someone's face, anyone's face, is
a bold step.
Nuts.
Yeah, I agree. It might be a deal breaker for me. Like,
you would have considered dating him, but now you won't.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm saying like if I knew your high school teacher back then and I was the appropriate age to be dating him and I wanted to, and then I saw a tattoo of Jerry Rice on his arm, I was like, never mind. I think I'm good.
Is it specifically because of that guy's face, or just
no? Just that's a good point. I think any face, it's like that's kind of weird. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
What about a fictional character's face?
I
that
think
might
that's
be more
less weird.
acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay, but a fictional character, like a live action fictional character.
Yeah, I don't think so, because then it's just like that's just a person again, you know.
Yeah, it's got to be. I think it's got to be animated, unless there's really intense costume makeup involved where they don't even hardly look like themselves. Because to Sean's point, then it just looks like a person. Like if you really love the Hunger Games, it's kind of hard to be like, that's Katniss. You'd be like, that's Jennifer Lawrence. You know what I mean? But if it's the guy that the guy in he's in a lot of stuff and he always plays weird creatures. He's in Pan's Labyrinth. He's the one that does like the eyes. But he also, I think, plays the other creature in that too. He always plays weird roles like that. And that I would kind of get, because you're like, that doesn't look like that guy. That looks like the weird creature he is.
Yeah, that would be totally acceptable. I think it'd be weird if you're like, hey.
You know what's funny? That thing is so weird. And you're like, that would be acceptable. This thing that has like eyes and hands. But I want to pull up what you're saying would be acceptable, so that if anybody doesn't
then it's just like, oh, you really like Pan's Labyrinth. I don't think that's that weird.
That creature gave me nightmares.
Look, totally normal and acceptable if somebody has that tattooed on their body.
I don't think that seems more normal. It's like a fandom thing.
No, I don't disagree. It is just funny, though, that that's the example. He's in so many things, and he's one of those people that is he's in a lot more movies than people realize, because he's so often in weird costume makeup type stuff like that. Because he's also in the show What We Do in the Shadows. If anybody's seen that, that's probably the most like himself that he looks, but he still looks weird in that too. And I think he's in what's the water one that also is Guillermo del Toro?
Shape of Water or something?
I think he's the creature thing in that, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they're both del Toro movies, so.
The Shape of Water or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
I did not know that. I know that he played both the Pale Man and the fawn thing. That's interesting.
I think because he's very tall and very lean, that it lends itself to these sorts of creatures. And I think he's just good at that kind of acting, the movement of it all.
IMDb.
And I think he's very patient with all the makeup. I think I've seen an interview of him where he talks about, I could be mistaken, but I think he talks about really liking the anonymity of it all, because he gets to really perform.
Doug Jones. What a name.
Doug Jones.
Yes,
to this. Yeah, what else is he in, Sean?
Dang, he's in a lot of stuff, so it's not even worth talking about.
Billy the Zombie.
He was Abe Sapien in Hellboy. I forget that too. But he
also del Toro, right?
Yeah. Wow.
I feel like he's one of those people that know a lot about movies know a lot about him and appreciate him. Are you looking too, Christy?
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, when you were talking about how he's like very lean and tall, I was like, oh, this guy sounds like he could play Slender Man or something. And I'm looking on his wiki, and it says he plays Operator, a fictional entity based on the internet myth known as Slender Man.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go.
He leans in. He knows what he's good at. I think another actor that, not quite the same, because he doesn't look like a odd creature, but what's his name, Sean? He's in the Christopher Nolan Batmans. He plays Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, Gary Oldman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gary Oldman like can look different in a lot of things. I don't know why.
Yeah, he looks very different in a lot of stuff, because he played... Is he the one that played Cheney? No, that was...
No, that's...
But he did... Who did he... But he did play an American figure.
Well, it's funny you said Cheney and then Batman, because it's the one who played Batman.
Yeah, but who is it I'm thinking of that he played? He played somebody known, and somebody knows this. Gary Oldman.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
Bale. That was going to bother me. I was like, who was Batman / Cheney?
Winston Churchill's. So not American. I'm dumb. Sorry. I think I just had the Cheney thing in my head.
Oh, he was Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
He was real weird as Dracula.
funny because every time I'm looking somebody up, like a celebrity, I always look at their personal life stuff and not like what they've been in, like anything about their craft. I'm like, let me see how many times they've been married and like how many kids they have.
4. Hasn't he been married 4 times or something?
5.
5, yeah. But yeah, you would never know that was him, right?
No.
Yeah, that's
It's
some
almost,
good makeup.
Yeah, it's almost even weirder when they're not playing some kind of creature, because then it's like another Batman one was a Penguin with what's his name? Colin Farrell.
Yeah, Colin Farrell.
The whole movie, I was like, where was he? I thought Colin Farrell was in this. Wait, that was him? That's always kind of fun.
Is that the new Batman? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, with Robert Pattinson.
With Edward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How dare you for not seeing that movie?
By the way, I just have to add that I always think it's a little unfair that Robert Pattinson can basically kind of sort of trash on Twilight, and what's his name? Cillian Murphy can look so uninterested in every celebrity interview, and people are like, so relatable, haha. And then if any other person like Rachel Zegler's like, the old Snow White is like whatever, and people are like, no, how dare you cast her? And so you're just like, okay, hold on. And there's other, like, anytime any actress doesn't seem particularly upbeat, they're or hints that maybe she didn't love the project she was in, people will rip them apart. And I'm just like, did we forget how much we all loved and memed Cillian Murphy for not seeming interested in literally anything? He seems really delightful, just to be clear, but you know how the internet was with him.
Yeah.
That there's whole montages of him looking like he doesn't want to be there.
I've had that same thought too.
Mm-hmm. Cillian Murphy does. It's funny when in interviews people be like, "What's your favorite meme?" And he's like, "What?" He doesn't know, or they'll ask him about like, which emojis do you use the most? And he's like, "I don't know what an emoji is." And they're trying to explain it. He's like, "I just type out words." And you're like, "How do you not know what an emoji is?" So when he's not working,
though, what if he's just,
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think when he's not working, he just goes and hangs out in Ireland and gets away from it all. With that. Yeah. I have seen somebody in an interview ask him about being British, and he's like, I'm not, I'm Irish. And they were like, well, but like, it's like this. And then I think he's with what's his name? The guy that Jamie Dornan. I think he's with Jamie Dornan, and Jamie Dornan's like, no, like, I think he's trying to warn it's him or another potentially Irish actor.
Well, Jamie Dornan is also Irish, right?
Right. Yeah. So I think that he's kind of like, no, don't. I think Jamie Dornan's a little bit more he comes across a little friendlier, whereas Cillian Murphy just looks so disappointed in the interviewer. Have you seen this clip before? I'll have to find it and send it if you haven't. And I just want to add, before I do, are we doing one more sprint?
I can do one more.
You can do one more. Sarah, are you like, I can't see?
I might fall asleep, but we can do one more.
Okay. We'll wake you up at the end of it all. And then Sean, do you have time?
I would like to do one more. I need to finish this book about J. Edgar Hoover.
The thing I was going to add is just that I enjoyed Jamie Dornan's Hot Ones. If I haven't said this before, I'll say it now. I'm sure many people know what Hot Ones is. It's a show where they have guests eat really spicy wings and then interview them in the process. And Jamie Dornan has the most colorful of curses I've ever heard. They're really funny. And I've never heard, like, I think he says Christ in a gondola or something at one point, which I had never heard before. And it was really amusing to me.
I don't know this actor.
He was in 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, okay.
He was in Belfast.
Yeah. But I knew if I said that would, but yeah, I really like him in Belfast a lot.
Belfast is when my man crush on Jamie Dornan started. I was like, oh, who's this guy?
I do think it's kind of funny. He has, I think he has a great accent. Well, obviously it's not an accent if you're Irish, but I like his typical way of talking. And then they make him have this American accent in 50 Shades. And I'm like, is that really the movie where we're concerned about, like, this isn't accurate to the books? He should have an American accent. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let the guy use his regular accent. And I will forever and always not understand in the dub of Howl's Moving Castle why they have Christian Bale do an American accent when the character is, I think in the books, actually more, what country is it?
Like Welsh?
I think it's Welsh. And then I'm not saying Welsh and British are the same. I think we even maybe talked about this in another chat at one time. Yeah. I get that they're not the same accent, but also I'm just like, well, also an American accent isn't a Welsh accent. So why wouldn't you just have him talk as he normally talks? Or like something close to it. I will always think Christian Bale was an interesting choice for Hal.
I want to say one thing on the subject of accents in movies and television. Okay. The miniseries Chernobyl, which is fantastic, is like a BBC and HBO thing, or maybe it's not even BBC. All I'm saying is it's British actors, and those British actors collectively said, even though we're all playing Russian people, real Russian people, we're going to just talk with our normal voices, which was a little weird for me at first because I was like, I just read a book on Chernobyl, and I was like, I don't remember all these British scientists in Russia. And I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. These are just the Russians. Okay. And I went with it. Meanwhile, I don't know what it is about American movies, but we're all like, oh, it's Russian. Let's all do our horrible Russian accents that we all have in our brains and then call that acting. Just stop. Just talk how you do. Learn from the British. They didn't try to do terrible Russian accents.
Or just cast Russians. I feel like it's another option.
Just find some Russian actors. That's fine too. One of the two. But I was like, hey, Chernobyl, great show. And they're British, you know? They just are.
It's like our complaint with Castlevania Nocturne, where it's all supposed to be vaguely French, but then everybody has a different accent. Nobody seems to have... It's really odd. I'm like, I don't understand. Some people are not from the area, so there's that. But also, I was like, what are the accents in this? They're just so all over the place. So anyway.
But then you also run into like that thing where it's like, oh, you're looking specifically for people from this culture, but then like, let's say it's an actor from that race, and then they speak English with no accent, but then the casting directors are like, oh, but could you say that again with an accent?
Yeah.
Yes. This is reminding me a little bit of the whole conversation about Selena Gomez in whatever that movie was that I don't have any interest in, Amelia Perez, where Selena Gomez doesn't really speak Spanish. And so they have her speaking Spanish in that movie, but she doesn't really speak it. But she's supposed to be...
doesn't really is kind. I think she doesn't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And she was like, I guess I'll learn,
And then it was not... But I think in the movie, her character is supposed to be able to speak it fluently. And so a bunch of people were, especially because Spanish sounds different depending on where you're from. And that movie, parts of it, I think, are supposed to be in Mexico. So a lot of Mexican audience people were like, that's not what it sounds like at all. This is a very bad Mexican Spanish accent. So I don't, and it's not even like, oh, that sounds like a very fluid accent, but it sounds more Cuban. Like my family is Cuban. I don't even think it was that. It was like, this just doesn't even sound like how it's supposed to sound. But, her last name is Gomez, so it's fine. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah. That movie did not seem good anyway.
Every time movies or shows have characters try to speak Chinese, I'm just like, this is so bad. Like, okay, I know you love Arrival, Sean, and I watched the movie and I really liked it too. But when she was speaking Chinese, I was just like, I would not be able to. If I was that guy, I would have been like, I have no idea what you're saying, lady.
Is it? So I'm gonna.
Wait, are you telling me that Amy Adams isn't a linguist who knows like a bunch of languages? This is really throwing me for a loop here.
When you say speaking Chinese, which specific language in Arrival is she? Because aren't there? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. It's a smaller detail about the movie, and I did not recall which she's speaking. Is that the most commonly spoken?
Yes. It's like the national language.
Okay. So is that usually when people say someone is speaking Chinese, that's usually what they're referring to as Mandarin?
Yeah. Mandarin or Cantonese, most often it is Mandarin. But oh my god, the most egregious example I can think of is what was that? Moon Knight? Is that the Marvel show?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so bad, and it was so unnecessary. Okay, have you guys seen that show?
No,
no, I did not watch it under protest because I like Oscar Isaac and I like Moon Knight in the comics, but I just knew it was going to be a train wreck. I saw one ad and I was like, that's not Moon Knight. I refuse to, on principle, to watch this show.
The show was like, it was like whatever, but that one scene was so bad. It was I think Ethan Hawke he plays the character, and then he has, I don't know, he has this kind of community where they're all trying to like speak different languages. I don't know, they're learning like Mandarin or something. So there's this one scene where he like kicks this soccer ball to this girl, and then he says this one sentence in Mandarin that doesn't make any sense. Like the grammar is so wrong. It sounds so bad. I'm like, did they not consult anybody for this scene?
I guess they just don't care at all. I'm trying to figure out, it's been a long time since I've seen it. Where is Iron Fist supposed to get his powers from, Sean? Do you remember this? Speaking of superhero shows that were like so painful.
I don't remember. Is it a real place?
It might be fictional, but it's like fictional but based on, I think. It's I think it's meant to be Chinese. It says it's a they have a Chinese symbol. It says it's a mythical lost city located in a different dimension.
I knew
it.
So
really quick, I'll zoom in on the characters they're showing here, if I can. Yeah.
What is this?
The show Iron Fist. It's like, I think where he's supposed to have gotten his powers or something like that. It was not a good show, just to be clear. But it was when Netflix had their Marvel shows that were gritty, like Daredevil, Jessica Jones.
Okay.
And that one, I don't know very many people liked it. So anyway, I feel like Sarah is like slowly not saying anything, which means we really need to get to this last sprint. Should we do the Jazzy?
I think I'm gonna.
Oh, are you all done?
Out. I am so tired.
Oh no. Okay.
I do just want to say that Christian Bale is from Wales.
Okay.
So it would make sense if he used his normal voice for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, why? I don't understand. I don't think they established that the character is meant to be Welsh in the movie, but in the book, I think they say that he's Welsh.
Yeah.
Or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, also, Sarah, I want to say one thing about Apothecary Diaries, which is that I don't remember what part it's at, but Boston also thinks about his hairline, just like Gaushin did earlier, and I thought that was so funny.
Oh my god.
Like father, like son.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you enjoy sleeping.
Thank you. And I might be in the chat maybe if I'm not asleep.
Okay. And hopefully it's not too hot now since it was so hot for you earlier.
Yes. I think it should be cooler now. Hopefully. Upstairs at least.
Okay. And for the other two that are remaining, should we and also bye Sarah.
Bye Sarah, good night.
Should we do one more time the piano or should we do the jazzy?
Piano.
Okay. Yay, I'm glad that one is liked. All right. Last 30-minute sprint. See everybody in half an hour. Hello.
Hello.
I officially got through over 100 pages across our 3 sprints.
Wow.
Yay. But again, there's some illustrations mixed in, so it's probably about a page a minute.
I mean, the same applies to me too, you know, like there's illustrations and also new chapters always start on the right page. So I got to page 60. So I've been pretty consistent throughout all 3 sprints.
You really did get through. So considering our last sprint, you were still in the first one, right? So you really buckled in. It was impressive. And Sean also got through a lot really quickly over the weekend.
Now I'm so far behind.
Oh. You're also on the 4th one.
Oh.
Did you get a decent amount of reading in for your Hoover book?
Yeah.
Yay.
Is there
694?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have like a time limit or something for this book, or you just reading it for fun?
I'm supposed to be done with it by Saturday morning.
Just like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a buddy read with his dad.
Makes sense.
See, I'm in a real bind.
They always chat Saturday mornings about what they're buddy reading.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I feel like you often find books you really like, but occasionally you get ones you don't like at all. And then you're kind of stuck because it's a buddy read with your dad. That's the only downside.
Yeah, this was my selection. We both like it.
Do you ever DNF books for this, or you're like
never DNF? Is a rule.
What was the book? The one book your dad picked you both disliked. The one that he heard about on NPR, right? The like political thriller or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, no, that's pretty bad. I disliked it more than he disliked it.
What was the random part about like the woman being large and therefore because she was bigger, she must not have as many feminine qualities in her demeanor or something dumb? It was really.
You have put whatever things I told you into your brain more than I did. As soon as I got that book, I was like, nope, it's gone. It's out.
Well, I would listen to your rants about it every day.
It's true.
I get that feeling though when you really don't like something. Sometimes the best thing to do is just get it out.
I can't remember what it's called. Something heart. Shelby's heart. Is that what it's called? I don't know.
You keep pretty good track. I bet you could find it pretty quickly.
I've started to feel that way too, where I'm like, if I don't like something, or it's like I dislike this book, or I just didn't care for it, I'm like, I don't even want to think about it. So I don't even track my DNFs anymore because I'm like, I just don't want to see those books on my list. I don't want anything to do with those books.
Sometimes when I DNF, it's more of a this is never going to be more than just a whatever feeling.
Yeah.
So then sometimes the books I complete, I like less than the books I DNF'd. But it doesn't happen that often necessarily. But there are some books that you like for a while, and then at some point you're like, what? And then you're far enough in where you're like, well, I guess I got to keep going. And then there are some books where you just like, you don't feel anything. And there have been times where I think back on books that I completed and I'm like, I couldn't tell you hardly anything about that book. I don't remember it at all. And in those scenarios, I just don't really bring them up because I don't want to be kind of faking my way through talking about a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I look back on some of the books that I have like on my read list and I'm like, I wish I didn't read this because I'm like, not because they were like bad or anything, but it's like, I don't remember anything from it. And then just having it on my read list feels almost like
a lie.
Like, not a lie because I read it, but it almost feels like a lie because I'm like, I couldn't tell you anything about it. I didn't read it.
I do think it's funny with how often people online make little silly TikToks about like, OMG, here I am at the bookstore again, even though I'm on a book buying ban or whatever. Like people make those silly little things. I've seen a certain idea before expressed where people will say like, oh, even though this is my favorite and you want to talk to me about it, I don't remember anything that happened. And that is a little odd to me because I'm like, I remember what happened in my favorite. Maybe not down to the most specific of details, but I usually at least will remember some things. Like if you start trying to talk to me about like, well, how come in this one chapter in this scene, is this actually like if a person's in the process of reading it? I'm like, I don't remember that part. I'm sorry. You know, that's I think different than you can't talk about it at all.
like that scene in Guns of the Dawn when you're like hide and seek, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't remember this scene.
Oh my gosh. That scene. That scene, I don't want to go as far as to say it ruined the book for me. But that scene was so I had to reread it several times because I'm like, that can't have just been what happened. How? I think it irritated me too because it was presented like, see, isn't our protagonist so clever, always finding ways out of these sticky situations? And I was like, oh, she suggested seriously to other soldiers on the opposing side that they play hide and seek, which is basically to say, how about you count to 100? That way we can get away. And I'm like, that makes
man,
no
she saved
sense.
a lot of lives that day.
It made no sense because I'm like, you know, they could have just let them go. What's with this?
Yeah, is it specifically because she suggested hide and seek? Not even if it's like, let us get a head start.
Yeah, if she had said, let us get a head start, and he was like, okay, I'll give you a head start. Even that, I would be kind of like, just let them go. You're clear. That's clearly what you're doing is you're just letting them go. But at least that doesn't have, because she was like, oh, because it was how it was presented too. Chrissy, why are you doing this?
Have you heard of hide and seek?
Well, yes, that's what she did.
I don't remember it too much because it must have not bothered me. But like, I wonder if it's a way to like, you know, for the other soldiers so they don't get in trouble with their like commanders or whatever. It's like, oh, how come you let them go? It's like, oh, I didn't let them go. We were playing a game.
Make them look stupider. They were like, well, we did start to play hide and seek, and they all got away. And she even was like, oh, that when you were a child, did you perchance ever play this game called ... hide and seek? Like that was kind of, I'm being a little silly, but that was basically how it was brought up. And I just couldn't believe, because it even said something like the other soldier clearly was glad she had come up with a solution. I'm like, that's not a solution, though. I was losing my mind about that scene, among other things. I mean, I didn't think it was that. I want to be clear. That's not the most terrible book I've picked up or anything like that. I really
compliment.
What?
It's not the worst book ever written.
That book, what was it called? How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying. I really didn't like that one. But that was I'm at my mom's house dog sitting, and this is the book I brought to read. So I guess I'll keep reading this. And I don't like that book at all.
Hearing you talk about that book made me not want to finish the rest of the books in the series by that author that I was currently reading. Because I'm like, that's so bad.
The amount of just constant. Okay, sorry, I need to stop. There's a part early on because the character, if I'm remembering correctly, is bisexual, and there's another character. Yes, that's true, she is. And there's another character who at one point early on says they're not attracted to women. It's another woman. And there's this line, this kind of like throwaway line about she always loved when that happened because she liked the challenge, like something kind of like that. I'm just kind of like, I hate that idea that you can just like change a person's, you know, how they feel about other people. And it just is.
Yeah, it's kind of icky.
Yeah. So that was early on, and just a lot of, I just couldn't stand that book. It wasn't for me. There is something to the kind of snarky, over the top. I don't mind explicit to some degree, but it's when it's like edgy explicit that it tends to just feel juvenile to me. I'm trying to think of any time that's worked, and thus far it has not. But I'm not an expert in that. So it's only been like, I feel like The Devil's kind of leaned into that. Although this one I'm talking about was way more extreme. But it kind of did that same vibe, and I don't think that's my vibe. I don't think
still
it'd
have
be
the doubles
Sean's either.
here. I still haven't finished it.
You're buddy reading it with a friend, right?
We've stopped. I've stopped.
So is your friend still reading it?
Yeah, he was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it. I'm like, okay, go ahead. I'm too much of a mood reader. Because like I could feel myself getting a little bit annoyed at the joke. So I was like, okay, I need to like take a break from it, take a long break from it, and like separate myself from it. Because if I kept reading, I knew that I was just going to get more and more annoyed. So I'm hoping that with some distance from it, when I go back to it, it'll feel fresh again.
Yeah, I mean that's tough when it's the same thing. Oh.
I'm probably going to depart.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should probably wrap up. But it's been fun. Thanks for staying up so late, Christy.
Yeah, I don't have to go into the office tomorrow, so I can stay up later. Still have work, but don't have to physically go in.
Yay. I never have to physically go in anywhere. I should have shown up for things like this. This is the extent of me physically showing up. So, lucky me.
Yeah,
Thanks
but you
for
also
joining.
kind of have like longer hours because it's like you're never off.
Yes, that is true. Sometimes I think about like if I decide to take a day off, I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna end up being like, I should get that editing done. You know, like unless I sit and play video games, but in my head I'm like, I'd rather do that when Sean's home. So I just end up working somewhere, or I'll just read a little bit. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks to everybody who hung out live, and for anybody that watches this later and gets some reading done, hopefully, or whatever you choose to do. Hopefully you have a good reading or just in general productivity sprint. Thanks to Christy and to Sarah, even though she's not here anymore, and the doggy that joined Sarah today. Luna Bear was here. She has gone off, but thanks everybody for joining. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for the chit chat. We'll see everybody later.
Thanks for spring.